Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel and we talk about it in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. We're so happy to have you here today, and I thought today being Thursday, we're going to talk a little bit about one of the horror movies that I enjoy this time of year. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about the character of Sam from the anthology movie Trick or Treat. What is his history? What is his deal? What do we know about this character? Could we ever get a sequel to this movie? Let's jump right into it. Alright, so if you enjoy the movie Trick or Treat this time of year, if you know that movie, it is an awesome movie. It is kind of this anthology that has a couple stories, and the wraparound is this little pumpkin demon called Sam. He really is just absolutely insane. And it makes the movie all that more interesting because inside of the mask, he's so cute. And then all of a sudden, you get to the part where you figure out what he is and you figure out what's going on, and it is kind of just one of those things. The movie's really enjoyable. However, there isn't really any prequel or sequel to this movie. It's just that they have this little animated short that appeared on the DVD called Season's Greetings. And basically, Season's Greetings is a 1996 animated short about the central character. And in it, we get to see Sam walking around trick-or-treating, and all of a sudden we see the stranger following him. Eventually he goes into the alleyway and only one of them comes out, and it happens to be Sam. Now Doherty apparently had bled onto the canvas when he was drawing this, according to what I've heard, and there is some real blood on it. Now that's kind of a cool twisted little thought to think about. It's kind of interesting, maybe a little bit gross, but that's what they've said about it. But what exactly is Sam? So Sam from Trick or Treat was created by Michael as a mascot for Halloween and is the spirit of Halloween. And he became the central character in 2007's Trick or Treat. Michael created Sam through doodles while attending New York University. The burlap sack over his head was designed to invoke both a pumpkin and a scarecrow, representative of the dual and creepy nature of Halloween. And the character's motivation was to give Halloween an iconic holiday-specific mascot similar to Santa Claus for Christmas. Within the film's lore, Sam is a demonic pumpkin-like creature, and he is the enforcer of Halloween traditions. He is depicted as willing to do whatever it takes to ensure the rules of Halloween are followed, such as not extinguishing jack-o'-lanterns before midnight, providing candy, and respecting customs are followed. Alright, so before we continue, I thought we'd take a look at the film. Now, in the film, you have a couple different stories. You basically have the story of a principal who is not what he seems, and that's kind of the first story. Then there is the school bus massacre one. The school bus massacre one tells the story of a group of trick-or-treaters who are following the urban legend of this Halloween school bus massacre. Basically, in it, the parents of 8 mentally disabled children bribe the driver to dispose of them. Things go awry, and the rest is horror history. Then you have the surprise party, where Lori, a self-conscious girl from out of town, joins her sister and her friends for Halloween. And Lori dresses up like Little Red Riding Hood. They go to pick up dates. And it's not what it seems. The last one is Sam. And Sam is about Sam, and it involves the neighbor of the principal that really hates Halloween. And basically, he dresses up his dog to scare trick-or-treaters off his property. And he doesn't really even like to hand out the candy. Well, we pretty much figure out what happens to him at this point with the conclusion of the movie, and that kind of ends our wraparound section of the movie. Now, if we go back as far as 2024, the director opened up about the difficulties that are plaguing the sequel, which was first announced all the way back in 2013. He says it's tricky because I think we really did capture lightning in a bottle with this one, and it nearly killed me. What a lot of people don't realize is that the bulk of our favorite horror movies, especially the ones that introduced new horror icons, were all independent movies. He already said that he had written and storyboarded Trick 'r Treat 2. And we may already know how the sequel would have played out, because at the time of doing the commentary for the original movie, he said that he was still trying to figure out Sam's origin. But he said if they get around to a sequel, he'd love to show Sam being born in a pumpkin patch. There's this great Charles Addams painting of a pumpkin patch, and you see hundreds of pumpkins, and you see one, and it's carving itself. So that would be kind of what he imagines as a sequel, or rather a prequel. Then he goes on to say that the reason we haven't gotten a sequel is he's not willing to compromise with the studio just to get a sequel made. There aren't the typical metrics that the studio can point to make this an easy yes. Something I was adamant about in the sequel was that it has to retain this non-linear storytelling, and it has to retain that weird mix of horror and comedy. And he wrote the screenplay at the time with his Krampus collaborators, Todd Casey and Zach Shields. He said the sequel is not dead by any stretch. We have some movement in the right direction, for sure. I'm also of the belief that I'm not going to compromise or sacrifice just to make a sequel. It has to be under the right conditions with the right resources. Otherwise, I will be just content with letting the first little movie be this weird little movie that fought its way through a lot of adversity. Now, what exactly made Sam iconic in this movie was just what was being said, that he does act as the spirit of Halloween. He sort of acts as this rule enforcer, and in a great way. Every story is tied to him, and in every story there are rule breakers, and a lot of the stories he didn't even have to lift a finger to do anything. He just sort of essentially acts as though he is the crypt keeper. So while you get the stories that this movie embodies, and you get all of them and the people are punished, he's just there to make sure those rules are enforced. That very last segment where we learn exactly what he is and we see exactly what he is, that becomes something that is so iconic and so scary. And I think it was worth it to wait for that last story just to see what he can do. Now, in terms of a sequel to this movie or a prequel, like I said before, we did get the little animated short that appears on the DVDs. And if you haven't seen it, that's available to find on YouTube. You can actually find it. I don't know if it's supposed to be there, but you can find it there and you can actually watch it. And I urge you to check it out because it's an interesting little animated short. Not to mention, it kind of gives a little bit of a prequel. Now, I do like the concept that he has for a prequel to this movie. I think that it would be great. And every year about this time, when I watch this movie, I start to think about what a lost opportunity this is, that they haven't done this sequel yet. Because it was announced so long ago, and then there was movement, and then he had it written. He has it written. He's just not going to compromise anything to get it out there. And I think that's a good thing too. I want the movie to be his vision, to be his thoughts. But here we are in 2025, and once more, we do not have a Trick 'r Treat 2. If he cannot get the same treatment for the movie that he got for the first one, he's willing to just let it all go. I think that there is a studio out there waiting to adapt this. I think that we will eventually get to see this come out. I think that it is going to happen, especially being that last year was when we started to hear news about it. But one of the things I think that makes the character so iconic is just that he is the host to the wraparound characters and that we don't know so much about him. So if he shows this origin like he wants to, I think that would be very cool. But I think that's gotta be a story within it. Maybe the wraparound this time is that origin story, and I think that would be great. So basically, I just wanted to talk about this film. I wanted to give you an update, but there is no new update. So what we heard all the way back in 2024 is still what is going on with this movie. But I wanted to kind of also tell you why Sam's iconic and let you know if you haven't seen this movie, you definitely still need to check it out. It is a wonderful movie, and let me know if you saw it in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of it. But I want to hear from each and every one of you, so make sure you're leaving me a comment in the comment box below. Let me know if you saw the movie, didn't see the movie, what you think, does it need a sequel? And don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this wonderful conversation. And then if you like positive content about your fandoms, you're going to want to tell YouTube that, so maybe they'll listen. Maybe you'll get more positive content in your YouTube feed. And if you're liking our channel personally, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell right next to it so that you never miss a single video we do. Because friends, let's face it, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it, fandom is family.